Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Last minute video added to the WWE Backlash 2018 series. Basically, the last minute, they added a match to Backlash. We're not going to talk about Bayley and her pre-show match, but this one is a video that honestly I am not really that fired up to talk about. And it's Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman teaming up, going against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Honestly, in my opinion, I think this is the easiest way to cool down everyone in that match. We've got Kevin Owens, we've got Braun Strowman. They're fresh to the Monday Night Raw brand after being moved over to during the Superstar Shakeup. And I'll tell you the truth. When I first was thinking about making this video, I was trying to figure out how the heck Bobby Lashley even wound up on SmackDown. I was all mixed up that Owens and Zayn were on Monday Night Raw. I know that they did that skit where basically it was the Sammy and Kevin show where they went back and forth with Kurt Angle. That led to them being put in that tag match at the end of Monday Night Raw. But I think the one thing that matters more than anything else is Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley is a guy that, was in WWE for a long time. He left. He ended up going to Bellator. He showed up. He fought for TNA for a while. He left TNA. Then he came back to TNA after the whole, Bischoff and Hogan era thing sort of ended. And became one of the main players for them. He stepped up and won the championship when I think he was supposed to be MVP. Actually, was the guy who was going to win it. But I think MVP got injured doing independent dates, and then Lashley became the guy. He had a couple series of matches with Bobby Roode. That was during the time period when basically Impact was going to be leaving Spike and setting up shop on Destination America. And was one of the guys that they were really pushing, and that was going to be one of the main guys. And a lot of people were wondering how that was going to work with him, still fighting for Bellator, and Bellator being a part of Spike, if they were still going to want to push him, if, the fights that he had were still going to be on the network that basically dropped them. And nothing ever really came of it. Bobby Lashley's always been, he's a good wrestler, but to me, he's just honestly not very entertaining. And that's what's showing up basically here on the Monday Night Raw roster. I mean, we knew that he basically got signed back in January when his contract ran out with Impact. There were people wondering if Bobby Lashley was going to show up at the Royal Rumble. He ended up not being there. People kept on wondering when he was going to pop up, and maybe it's just like WWE. They don't want anything to interfere with the WrestleMania buzz, and they didn't really see this guy as somebody who was going to fight in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So they just kept him on the ice until I believe the night after WrestleMania on Monday Night Raw is when he just sort of just showed up and just said, "Here I am." And since then, we really haven't seen anything from him. Honestly, the best case scenario to come out of this match would be for Bobby Lashley to turn on Braun Strowman, setting up some Strowman versus Lashley matches. Because honestly, to me, Bobby Lashley has this, oh, look at me, I'm a good time baby face, look at me waving to the crowd and kissing babies and stuff like that. It just doesn't work. And basically seeing him in some big matches against Braun Strowman, those don't really make me jump out of my seat. I'm not somebody who's going to jump on the Braun Strowman bandwagon. Now I've never really been the biggest fan of this guy. I think the character's pretty cool. I don't really think that the matches, besides for the ones with Roman Reigns, have been all that great. So, I'm not just going to be jumping on this front runner because he seems like he's, one of the most popular guys. And some people are thinking that he's even the guy that's going to step up and beat Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. And that's something that I'm really rooting for, is for anybody to beat anybody to beat Brock and take that belt. So we'll have to see what comes out of this. I'm not sure if they're going to do the heel turn during this show. It seems like this is just going to be the slam bam, thank you ma'am sort of thing. Because to me, I don't really get it is that if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lose this match, where they really go from here either. I know that, Kevin Owens had one hell of a run on Monday Night Raw before switching during the Superstar Shakeup last year. He was the Universal Champion over on SmackDown. He won the U.S. titles a couple times. He had one hell of an angle against basically Shane McMahon where he got put in some main events and things like that. So you can't really say that, he wasn't really treated the same by the SmackDown team of writers over there. But you got to be able to see that, the Superstar Shakeup comes on, the guys that are going to take off normally take off right out of the gate. And boom, right out of the gate, you've got Bobby Lashley, who just debuted on Raw. Nobody really is feeling this match, and I don't even think many people even know that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have a match on this show. I think that what this goes down to, basically, is WWE is trying to sell Backlash as 2 pay-per-views for the price of 1. When I really am seeing through this, basically, as a WWE Network subscriber, we've been getting used to over the last 2 years, having 2 pay-per-views a month, where more guys are able to show their talents, and maybe they're trying to say that basically they can't keep up with that. I know a lot of things with WWE is trying to make more money and, keep the costs down. A lot of things that companies do, and they're trying to sell. Is cook up the books to get the most money back in return when they actually sell the company. And there are lots of rumors out there about WWE selling. So maybe that's what they're trying to do. But as a fan of WWE, yeah, there are some matches that don't really matter. But in the long run, I think those 2 pay-per-views that we were getting, more of those matches mattered out of the long run that they were hosted on these pay-per-view shows. And now, right out of the gates, look at Backlash. I mean, Sasha Banks, really damn good wrestler. She had this sort of angle with Bayley, and it's just done. They didn't even get to have a singles match on pay-per-view. And Bayley is actually fighting on the pre-show match of Backlash. So I don't really even know where they go from there. So we'll see.